Welcome everyone to the LEC post-game lobby. We've got Ender and Elyoya. What a match of the week. It was so convincing from you guys. Really crazy. And yeah, maybe starting at what do you think kind of the key was to winning today? Because from a viewer perspective, it did not look that hard.
I think our draft was our comfort. Like, we got 5 of the picks that we really like to play. So we knew what to do in game. We executed it. So the game went pretty well. Also, Haley got some pretty nasty arrows. So I was just being there, you know. That was all of my job, just be there.
He calls when the arrow's coming in, you're there for the gank. I think they also got a 2v2 kill in the bot lane as well, so it seemed like pretty easy from there. I mean, that play was
this
sick
was crazy.
Out of Niski. Absolutely loved that from them. But I also saw, like, later in the game, too, I really liked your objective setup on Nash. Actually, this play right here, where you're kind of like 3 in River, and then Niski and Chasey are both looking for flanks on opposite sides, and you just, like, crunch down onto them. I thought it was really nice.
Yeah, I think we executed quite well the flanks here, because with Fiora, Sylas, you mostly want to flank into their comp. We just were ready for them. The moment we have the vision, it was quite easy.
It's also nice because, like, Azir is like, which direction do I ult? There's people coming at me from literally every single angle, so...
He just sees arrows coming at him, like, it's arrows, Sylas from here, Fiora from here, my ulti, like, going through the window.
He was scared after that, I'm sure. Super convincing out of you. And when we were introducing the match of the week, we were talking about the fact that Koi has dropped a couple of games. Of course, you guys dropped 1 game only as well. But maybe that we were wrong in our assessment that Koi would have an easy time sliding into this season and getting that regular season record that they did. Maybe there was more than meets the eye in that top lane change. I think nobody's saying that we didn't think it was going to be a big change because Odoamne is an amazing player. But what's your vision of, you know, how Koi is doing now and how they can grow, or what's going wrong with them?
I was also expecting more convincing performance from them, to be honest. But I'm not sure if they just got really confident after winning, or they just didn't are starting slow the season. They are not putting so many hours now, and they wanna grind in once the best of 3 starts, once the BO5 starts. But I was also expecting a better gameplay from them. But yeah, I mean, because it's what you mentioned, that even though we are not saying that Odoamne is not a great player, the core of players that they had, it was Comp, Larsen, and Malrang. These 3 were playing really, really well, and I don't think they are showing the same level this split so far. So I'm not to change. I can't see like watching the games. I cannot think of any player that is underperforming. Mostly, you know, I think just them as a group are not clicking. I'm not sure if Odoamne was doing a great job in terms of communication, of syncing the team, or what is going on. But yeah, they are not showing the same level as they were.
Yeah, I think one thing that I saw was, like, the first week, it was like a lot about playing through topside, which was like a different look for Koi, so maybe not quite as used to it, but also they picked up their first 2 games that they played. But then even like the game yesterday, it felt like a little bit odd because Malrang just like kept looking for like a gank angle that was gonna work, and then it didn't work, and he's like, okay, I'm behind. I could farm, but I'll still be behind. No, I'm gonna try another gank, and then nothing showed up there. He just kept trying and trying, and he was level 5 when enemy AD was level 7 at one point, and I'm just like, this is so sad because the rest of his team just wants to scale, and he's left in level 5 for half the match.
Yeah, that game we saw it obviously in the office, everyone, and his pathing. I could see the ideas. I just think that he either, I'm not gonna say that he disrespected, but he was a bit optimistic on the gank attempts, and he really fell behind. And yeah, as an Elise, falling behind and not being able to contest many objectives or keep snowballing the game, I think it's something you cannot afford.
Yeah.
And it showed up, and even then they still had some chances. And on late game, as I said, don't think they played as good as they were playing last year.
Yeah, I think that's a good note for Malrang, definitely. It feels like last year they were often saying, oh, we're going to figure Malrang out, the enemy teams, and it never really happened because they won. Maybe this is it, but I don't think so. I think they'll bounce back.
Yeah, I'm not worried. That seemed like more like a game where just like a few things went wrong and they just kept going wrong for him. That doesn't seem like it's the end of Malrang for me. That was just a rough
That would be very overblown for sure. How do you feel about the jungle meta right now? Overall, I hear a lot of sounds of like, oh, you know, the meta's maybe a little bit stale. But in the jungle, we've seen recently, of course, Elise also piloted in the LEC, etc. How happy do you feel?
I'm pretty happy with this meta. like it's been a bit Wukong, Vice, Johnny that others have stayed there for long, but LEC is coming in. Maokai is also really, really strong. There is some other picks that are being seen in scrims that maybe show this weekend in LEC, but I'm pretty happy with the meta that it's right now. I think it's quite good, yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, I think with Elise showing up this week, I was like, okay, like
That's
now
fun.
we've got like another really cool option because it didn't seem like week 1 was like so much. It seemed about like either level 2 ganks or invade enemy jungle and just like steamroll ahead on Graves or something like this. But now the Elise is just another layer where it's like, oh yeah, we've got turret dives in the equation too. Like these super squishy bot lane champions. Like you lose Prio, third wave it stacks up. Elise is just there and you're dead and you're like, yeah, I'm playing Ashe, but. Okay, yeah, I guess I'm just dead instantly.
You can't play Ashe against Malrank Elise. He's gonna be there on every wave. Like he's gonna be there.
Yeah, I played Velvet today as well. Where is she in the tier? Or is that one of those things where it's just one of his favorite champions on which he has a great record?
Velvet always does good into range champions, but into Elise, I'm not sure. I don't personally like it, but it went pretty well for him, so maybe I'm not counting in something. Also, I would say Mickey had a pretty insane game on Nautilus. So everything went pretty well for them, and the Velvet looked really strong. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be so snowballed, because if Velvet gets going with Rifts and everything, this champ is really, really annoying to play against. I don't think this champ is as strong as the others, but they made it work, so props to them.
Indeed. I want to pull up the standings because things are a little bit wacky in the LEC. I think some things at the top of the table are as we kind of expected them, probably. I want to say G2, Mad being near the top, Vitality, which was quite the question mark. What is the craziest thing about the standings to you, Elyoya?
Mad Lions being...
They were always going to be number 1, obviously.
For me, it's Excel, actually. I was not expecting Excel to... watching their team and even watching them scream, just 1-4, I think it's a result I would not, like, never guess. Also, I think SK has actually had some really good games. Like, they have defeated G2 and Vitality, like, the two strongest teams in the league. They defeated both of them, so SK is looking really strong. I think those are like my 2 biggest surprises.
Yeah, SK, I think, deserve a lot of props.
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday, in any game, there's always the opponent who obviously doesn't play optimally. But in the both games that they won, you clearly saw that starting from the draft to the game plan to the follow-through, which for me was the most impressive, that they definitely deserve being up there in 4th place, which is a huge success with over halfway of the games played in the split.
No, it's amazing. And I'd actually bundle them right there with BDS too, because like their week 1s were not fantastic, right? Like SK especially was like, ooh, I guess we've got our 9th, 10th right here. You know, like that's what I was thinking after week 1, but they just came back in such a great way. I think Adam on BDS was looking fantastic. Their bot side of the map as well was showing up. So those two stepping up has made like the 9-10 question like so volatile for me, because I thought it was going to be some kind of battle between Astralis, BDS, SK, and I'm like, okay, is it XL Astralis? But at the same time, like Koi, Fnatic, and Heretics are all in danger of falling down there, because you saw how quickly BDS and SK turned it from week 1 to week 2. From week 2 to week 3, it could be a similar story with any of those teams.
Yeah, it's nuts. So who's it going to be? What's your gut telling you? Who falls out of the top 8?
Ooh. I don't know. I
think it's gonna be XL and Astralis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Part of me is like wanting to be like spicy and be like, it could be Fnatic, but they just beat XL, so I'm like, oh, okay, they have head-to-head, so
I think the way
they're probably fine.
XL played from an Spectre point of view, I'm not sure. I think things might not. I don't think they are going quite the path they wanted to. Like just from watching their faces, they really don't seem like things are clicking, or however you want to call it. So they seem pretty down the hole, and it's 1 more week, 4 games. Like that's the thing, that you cannot bounce back. You don't have that much time to bounce back. Before, I would probably say another team, but just thinking that there is 4 more games left, so I think these two look a bit rough.
I also feel like they've come in and they've now picked, I forget which team they played against, but their comp from today was like the same that they played in week 1, just swapping out a Sylas for an Ari in mid lane. And I feel like these comps for them that almost force them to play a little bit more actively in the early to mid game are maybe not the right idea for them. We see a lot of teams picking like more scaling options and just sort of being able to cruise past them. And I haven't seen this team be able to find the right fights around like second, third Drake that they need to be able to like snowball with like a Vi in the jungle, for example, next to a pick like Ari. It's just not. They're not finding the fights and then like the picks in enemy jungle that they need to make those picks work.
I agree. I think something more late game, more scaling for them would suit them much better. Just especially, I think BTO is a player that when you give him resources and you give him time, he usually performed. I think this split hasn't showed up as he did before. But he's still a great player, and I think they should put scaling, play for Patrick and BTO, just get to 2-3 items, work on those team fights, and they can still be a really good team. They have Odo, they have BTO, they have Patrick, Zerze, and Targamas. Like, if you see this lineup, you would never say they are the 9th place of LEC.
And maybe that is exactly the issue with these losses that have come. Also, the comeback that Fnatic did. Those are like very hard games to lose from a mental perspective. So hopefully they can clean it up. I don't remember now, but have you played G2 and Vitality already, or is that all next?
Only Vitality.
Only Vitality. So what do you think about Yike and Bo? Because I feel like those are the 3. Of course, with Malrang, he just had an off game. But what do you think about kind of the jungle hierarchy and who has impressed you the most, including yourself?
To me, the best jungler is. I'm not 100% yet, but I would say the best mechanically is by far Bo. I think Bo is insane. Like, this guy plays really well, teamfights and everything. Like, he's really good. You can see that. But I'm not sure if he's keeping up his game to the mid game and the late game. I think there is, like, at that point, there is an edge on which other junglers can for sure reach him. Even on early game, his early game is not perfect, and it's like his team is also not playing perfect around it. So for now, I would say that the strongest is looking Yike, but I don't think he's the best jungler of the 3. I think actually me and Bo, I would say Bo is number 1. I would say I'm the number 2, but I think Yike is the number 3. And I have to say first that for now, Yike has performed better than me, but from what I've seen, I don't think he's a better player than me.
You're playing G2 the last day of the regular season, actually.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I can get on board with that sort of hierarchy there for now. I think for me, with Yike, I think it's so much like the way that G2 play their early game, it's like almost playing through him, right? Because like bot lane will like all in level 1, get prio, and then Mickey just walks into enemy jungle with him.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's playing it like exactly how he needs to, but I want to see like more games where like that's like not the situation he's put in, right? Like when he's put on the back foot or they don't have perfect prio and he has to find opportunities for himself. That's the challenge I'm still waiting to see for him to prove that he's like actually like all the way at the top.
I have the same feeling as you. I think that he has one of the best laners, or if not the best laners, the laners are really, really strong, and they are making a lot of work for him, but he's also there and he's doing the job. Like, I'm not taking credit from him. I think he's playing really well, but I think the conditions in which he's playing well are easier than some other teams, if that makes sense. And also in some of the games, I saw him getting caught and doing some small mistakes that, for example, when the 2v2 against Astralis, in which Caps flashed the Sylas E and completely saved that 2v2. That would have been a big disaster. But Caps kind of saved that play, and this is what I mean, that he's been playing really well, and he's been like, in order to be to show up as good as him, you need to be there, and he's like playing there, like he's doing the steps right. But I want to see him while Mickey is having a bad game, when Caps is having a bad game. Then it's when I see him step up, and if he steps up and he can carry, then I have no ego to say that he's better than me without any problem. But for now, what I've seen is that he's playing well when his team is also playing really well around him.
To be like a truly great player and a truly great jungler in particular, I think like you have to have like that flexibility, right? Because there's a million different variables in League, right? They're going to be thrown your way, how the early game goes, and it comes from like bouncing back when you're behind, finding opportunities. Like even if like you came into a game, you're like, I want to play through bot lane, but they lose flash at level 1, and you change your mind. So now you have to either invade top side, gank mid, whatever it ends up being. Like reacting on the fly and adjusting as things go opposite to how you expected. That's how you prove yourself at the top. And unfortunately, we just haven't seen enough games yet. So this isn't even anything I think we're like holding out against Yike. It's just we want to see more games. When the BO3s come around, that's when we're really going to see him put under the test.
Yeah, and to your point also, you know, junglers for BDS and SK, you know, of course, Markun had like a great outplay today. But when it's
been so good.
Yeah, but teams that are struggling and that you really need to find solutions, I think there is where you really see the value also. But we could talk about this forever, but you have another game tomorrow because we have 3 days now. So let's take a look at the schedule. We have XL versus Astralis, in fact, to kick us off, which has very high stakes because if you lose that one, it's looking very, very bad.
That's a good matchup. That's like, oh my god, that's so important. Like, I feel like Astralis, if they want to have any chance of making it out of 9-10, they have to win that match. XL, maybe you lose and you're still under play, but if you go into last week with 0 wins, like, I'm sorry, the odds are just not there.
Miracle run.
So who's winning it? Who's your...
Look, I went all in on Finn this morning. Like, Finn showed up like 3 hours before game time to record our ready check for us, and he absolutely hyped me up with the practice coming into the week. So I still got, but then it's Odo on the other side.
Yeah, he's also in.
No, I don't want to choose.
You don't want to choose?
You have to choose. You have to choose.
No, I'm not on the show tomorrow. I don't actually have to choose.
He can just get away like that?
Yeah, I can actually. That's how it works. You're up versus BDS, and they have been soaring.
Yeah.
What have you thought about how they played, and has that made you extra vigilant going into that matchup?
I saw his level 1, and I'm very scared that a monkey appears from a bush and just smites my red level 1. So we will make sure that doesn't happen to us, hopefully. But yeah, they played pretty well these last 2 games. So I'm quite excited to play against them. Also, Karzi against Labrov. There is narrative there.
That's a grudge match.
Grudge match.
So who's your take on this?
I mean, obviously the Mad Lions, you know. I just think this guy raises a lot of great points over here.
Yeah. There's also G2 versus Vitality, which first we were like, oh, it's not the match of the week, it's the match of the new week. But then Vitality went and lost, G2 went and lost. But now they each only lost 1, so it's a grudge match. It's back on.
They're keeping it even coming into the match.
Oh, but this graphic.
I respect that. Oh, that is good.
That's good. That doesn't get old.
Also, I feel like I've said caps when I meant to say perks and said perks when I meant to say caps like 10 times already since coming back. It is not helping me that they're on the same screen.
Prediction.
G2 takes it like... I mean, after today's game, I was going to say maybe close, but I think G2 is going to win pretty hard.
Look, jungle diff is lane diff, and I'm sorry to say it, but G2, they got the lane diff, so... It's G2.
That's a great
note.
Which
lanes?
Which lane?
I'm sorry. I saw the stop.
That's a great note. All right, let's take a PGL selfie so then we can let Elyoya go.
But which lanes? Bot lane. Mickey, that's an early MVP candidate. I'm going to say right now. Mickey for MVP.
Oh.
Okay, here we go.
Such a boomer. Why do you look so... You're not. These are my heels. Oh, it's because he's so tall.
I'm just a freak. I'm sorry, guys.
Awesome.
Nice.
Thank you very much. That was all from us. Remember, we'll be back tomorrow. There's another day, and there's G2 versus Vitality, and there's XL versus Astralis. So we'll see you then. Get some sleep.
Drill and Dracos hope the Barons can help with saving a falling Titan. But will the Barons buy into their plan?
Ladies and gentlemen, oh no, here it comes. Oh no. Let's not get bogged down with schedule. Let's listen to this song. You ready?
This song is going to be so cringe.
F is for friends who do stuff together. N is for anyone.
I should not have done this.
But you did.
Should fall here. That's a stun. Nuke now going to follow up. Should just hold on to the Ash Arrow, grab the kill, make another play to follow. And BDS tying up the gold score. That bot lane devastation not going to be able to continue any further.
Oh, the arrow from box.
Arrow from downtown. Now one spin coming in from the Wukong. Good damage. Second spin now going to come out.
Fnatic trying to stop this Baron. Wonder and Russell gets stolen! It's stolen! Fnatic Heretic managed to steal the Baron. Yet another kill to G2.
I don't know how Heretics are supposed to try and respond to this.
Is it needing a UK player?
Dots needs to go back to base, get more wards, get his health bar back up. Certus finds Photon.
They will find an opportunity onto Niski as Marang is waiting just behind the hijack. Away! Sets up the counterpunch. Niski obliterates Cop.
Ult coming out. Nuke just moving in pretty furiously here. Curtain call already coming in. The follow immediately from Adam. Love the play. The three-member combo there. The Stylus, the Jax, and the Jin just doing work. BDS, big win. Clearly deserving the win.
I think I need you to get 6 kills on Jankos at least, and also another 6 kills on Perks at least.
Those terms okay for you?
Deal.
We can push your end, by the way. Okay, but don't int it.
Yeah.
Just play Lucian.
Another kill secured as Jankos is popped for the 6th time. The Nexus turrets are now being focused as well. Will we get a dancing Rift Herald?
Dancing Shelly.
And
Wait, what is Shelly? Shelly, what are you doing, Shelly? Nice! Good job. Nice.
I believe we got a great deal.
Hope you all enjoyed your brief reality TV break.